Hi, in this lab we will see the elastic block storage, how we can create the volumes and how we can create a snapshot, convert the snapshot into disks, etc. So in the Amazon Web Service portal, so we need to go to the issue to dashboard. So here we will have an option called elastic block storage. So if you click on volumes, so you will see the volumes over here. So currently I'm having three volumes, which is GP2 and which is 40 GB, and another one is 10 GB, and another one is 30 GB. So if you click if you drag it to the right side, so you will see the size and IOPS currently it is utilized. And then we have like if there is any snapshot associated with that disk, it will display over here. So and here you can see the availability zones. So currently these disks are in 1B availability zone, so I cannot use this particular disk in another zone, which is 1A or 1C, etc. So volume state in use, it means this is attached to some virtual machine. So that is why it is showing in use. Otherwise, it will say available. So this is the attached instance. So on this particular virtual machine, for example, demo VM, I have attached this particular disk. Similarly, I have attached NAT demo VM with this particular disk, which is GP2 ending with 1E. So this is how in the portal you can track all the details. So when it comes to encryption, see, as you can see, by default it is not encrypted, so you have to encrypt while creating the disks. So let's see how we can create a disk. So wow, one simple way to create a disk while we are creating the virtual machine. So if you go to the instance, if you click on launch instance, on the fly while creating a virtual machine, you can create EBS volume as per your requirement. So in this launch instance wizard, if you scroll down, we will have a dedicated area where we can configure the storage. So as you can see, it is mentioned configure storage. Here you need to mention the size. For example, if you want 10 GB or 20 GB, so accordingly you can choose. And then the type, either you need general purpose SSD, which is GP3 or GP2, or if you want IO1 or IO2, or if you need cold or throughput optimized HDD. So according to your requirement, you can choose this particular uh, disk SKU. So then we have if you wanted to add one more disk to the particular virtual machine, you can add additional disk. So this is one way while creating a virtual machine you can create EBS volume and attach it on the fly. So otherwise, let's say if you wanted to create a separate volume and later you wanted to attach to the virtual machine, so that is also possible. You need to go to volumes. So here we need to click on create volume. So then we need to select the type, the volume type. Do you want GP2, GP3, or IO1 or IO2, etc. So for simplicity, I will keep GP2. And size, we can mention either you need 100 GB or 50 GB. So let's put 20 GB. So I'm going to create a 20 GB disk. And then we need to select availability zone. So this is very important. So you have to choose the same availability zone where you're going to deploy your virtual machines. So for example, let's say I'm going to deploy it in 1A, and then snapshot ID. So I'm not choosing anything at this moment. Encryption, if you wanted to do encryption, you can do the encryption, otherwise you can leave it. So since we have a separate chapter on encryption, so we'll cover the encryption part later. So for now, I'm not choosing any encryption. So if you wanted to add any specific tags, so you can add it. Otherwise, you can simply click on create volume. So this will create a volume of 20 GB, which is in a availability zone 1A. So let's see the status. So as you can see, it is in a available state because it is not attached to any virtual machine. So for example, let's imagine if you wanted to attach this particular disk to some virtual machine. So let's go to this VM. So let's go to this disk. So in the action, you need to click on attach volume. So if you click on attach volume, it will list the virtual machine in this particular availability zone. So if I click on instance, you won't be able to see any virtual machines. Why? Because I do not have any virtual machines running on 1A. All my virtual machines are in 1B. So if you go to my EC2 instance, so as you can see, all my virtual machines are in 1A, sorry, 1B, 1B, and then I have it in 1D. I do not have anything on 1A. That is why am not able to attach the EBS volume to any of the VM. So this is how you create volume. And if you wanted to increase the size of this volume, it is very simple. So you just need to select this volume, and then you can click on modify. So here you can increase the size. For example, let's say I wanted to increase it to 25 GB. So you can simply click. Similarly, if you wanted to convert from GP2 to ION, that is also possible. So, however, it comes with IOPS limit. So, you need to change the IOPS limits to 1250. So, if you choose IOPS SSD or ION category, so you can click on modify. So, click on modify once again. So, now what we have done, we increased our volume size to 25 GB, and then we changed the SKU from GP2 to GP3. So as you can see, now it is changed. So for example, let's say you have workload, maybe database running on GP2, and you saw that it is not serving your purpose. You may need to have a higher IOPS. So you can seamlessly change the size as well as the SKU of the disk. So now we have covered how to create and how to increase or how to change the type of the virtual EBS volume. So now let's say if you wanted to take a snapshot of this virtual volume, for example, for any, before you performing any other activity, you wanted to be on safer side. So you wanted to take a snapshot so that it will retain the existing status, and you can revert back, or you can create a new disk at any time. So to create a snapshot, you need to go inside this volume, and under action you can click on create snapshot. So here give the name. So I'm going to give a name as snap hyphen demo, and then I'm going to click create snapshot. So now we have created a snapshot of our existing volume. So if I go to my snapshot, so here you can see it is creating the snapshot. It is still in pending state. It will take a while to create the snapshot. So let's wait for a couple of seconds, and then we will refresh. So now snapshot status showing completed. It means it is created a snapshot. So if you wanted to create a disk from this snapshot, or maybe for the restore purpose, etc., so then it is very simple. You need to click on the snapshot, and then you need to click on action, and here you have an option called create volume from the snapshot. So you need to select this particular option, and then it will ask which type of volume you need. Either you need GP2, GP3, etc. So I'm selecting GP3, and size 25 GB it will by default it will take, and the IOPS it will take by default whatever the provisioned IOPS for the GP3, and throughput all the details it will fill. So now this is very important. So earlier our snapshot and our disk was in availability zone 1A, so it will by default take 1A. However, if you wanted to create this disk in another zone, then it's very simple. So you need to click another zone, for example 1B, and it will create that particular disk in that another zone. So let's click on create. So now it will create a EBS volume in another zone, which is nothing but a copy of our existing volume. So as you can see, this is our new disk which we created. If you go to the availability zone, you can see it is in US East 1B. So it is in a available state. It means it does not belongs to any VMs, or it is not attached to any VM. Let's say now you wanted to attach this to any of the VM. Go to the action and click on attach volume. So now you will see all the VMs which is available in 1B. So if I select this, so we can see two VMs are there. So I can select one of the VM and I can attach the volume. So this is how you can create snapshot, and you can create a VM, and you can create a volume from that snapshot, and you can select any other availability zones as per your requirement, and you can attach that volume to the EC2 instance. So this is the brief about EBS, where we have covered how to create a volume, and how to increase or how to change the type of the volume, and how to create a snapshot, and how to attach VM with the volume.